Well, the first thing I want to ask you is you had to be a spectator for last night's game. So how you feeling? Are you going to be able to get back into that lineup soon?
I practiced today, which is good. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. It's kind of a day by day thing. I'll hopefully have a better answer for you tomorrow.
Was it tough to watch that? I mean, you've been doing this for a long time, and it's not the first time that you've had to sit and watch a game, but you're with a team that's struggling to find its identity right now. I know you really want to be a part of that, and then you have to sit and watch. Is that still difficult for you?
Yeah, of course, especially the situation we're in now, the shortened season, everything's magnified that much more. Every game means that much more. You never want to watch, but again, a circumstance like this makes it that much tougher. You want to be able to be in the lineup and help your teammates. Especially with Z out too. You look at our back end last night, fairly inexperienced. Jonesy had to play 30 plus minutes last night, which isn't an easy task at any time, let alone with the schedule we have now. So hopefully I can be back as soon as possible, help the team get on track, provide some leadership, and hopefully solidify things.
Since you bring up Seth Jones, you've had a chance to be his partner at different points here, and you played with a lot of guys in your career in this league. How does Seth Jones match up? What makes him special for this team?
The thing with Jonesy that I love about him is, of course, he can skate. He's big. He's got offensive talent, but the way he competes defensively, there's not many defensemen in the league now that are known as, power play or offensive guys who have that compete level, who have that physical edge to their game, that mean streak. So that's one thing I truly respect and love about him is he's tough to play against. There's some offensive guys in this league that I know other offensive players love having them in their own end because they're not responsible or maybe the effort level isn't quite there as it is when they do have the puck. So that's the thing the biggest thing I take away from him is his all around game.
Michael, when you looked at coming to this organization, it was pretty deep in defense. Could you see a spot where you could fit in, or did you have conversations that led you to believe that you could actually earn a contract with this team?
Any team you go to, even if you do have a contract, you're trying to earn a spot or guarantee a spot or guarantee more ice time every single day. So nothing is given, especially with Torts. And I think that was what made the decision for me was having Torts here and understanding that nothing is given. With him as your coach, everything is earned. And, you can't really say that about a lot of other teams or organizations in the league. The last few years, it's been unfortunate being on rebuilding teams where no matter how well you play, they were going to go with their younger guys. And, it's unfortunate because, I'm a little old school in that way where everything needs to be earned. And that's how it was when I came in the league as a young guy. And I'd like to think that's how it should be in any, not just in hockey, but in any aspect of life, that everything should be earned.
I like that old school flavor you have. And, I got to ask you a question that I love when people ask me about Torts. Has he changed?
Yes and no. He's definitely he's changed a bit. He's understand where the game has gone. Obviously, a lot more young guys now. So how you approach it every single day, I don't think the young guys. You could use the word soft, or you have to be a little bit lighter on them, I guess now, just because there's so many of them. Putting it politely. Yeah. But with him, and you saw, second game in with after the trade with Patty Laine, 40 goal scorer. It doesn't matter if you make $10 million league minimum, 40 goal scorer, 0 goal scorer. There's a standard you have to meet every single night with him in compete level and how you approach a game. And that's one thing that I truly respect about him because as I said before, there's not many coaches who are as firm or strict as he is every single day, and there's no gray area with him.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's not as black and white, if you will, as far as he does have that soft spot. I think it has grown a little bigger through his just being around. But what I want to ask is, when this team needs, or he needs more importantly, sometimes a veteran to maybe walk in and say, Torts, why would you say that? Or why wouldn't you try not to say that? Do you feel you have that relationship with him where maybe you can represent the guys and be like, Torts, listen?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I don't know, a week or two ago, he was on the treadmill in the gym, and it's funny, no one was within, it seemed like 30, 40 feet of him. And I went over there right beside him and warmed up, and we were, chatting about different things. So I think some guys still are intimidated with him, a little scared of him, especially depending on how the game went the night before. But with our relationship, we've been through, so many ups and downs together. I had him 12 years ago. And I think, I respect how he treated me at a young age. And that's one reason why I came here is having that relationship. And I think he respects me as well for how far I've come along, how far I've matured, the experience. So yeah, we can have that conversation. It's probably not going to be something that's going to be in front of the room where, you speak out of line or disrespect him by any means. But I think there is a mutual respect there where we can have a conversation where maybe I disagree on something and we could at least hash it out that way and get a better understanding of how, I guess maybe why the rhyme or reason of why things are done.
No, it would definitely be out of respect where you could go in and be like, it's good for Tortson and it's good for the team. I think it's important for everyone, especially for him, to have a guy like you who he respects that can maybe turn the light on a few things that are happening in the room. So I just was wondering if you had that. So that's important.
And even with some of the younger guys, even, Peaker just went down to Cleveland today, but even having him, we've spoken numerous times because I haven't been in that position before, even with Z. I've spoken to them numerous times. I've been there where it seems like he can be hard on you, but he cares. And sometimes it is tough, but you have to have thick skin with him. But you also have to understand it's for the betterment of you and for the team. He wants to win. He's just as passionate as the players are. Sometimes, he can be a little hard, but if you understand why, I think you take a step back and appreciate what he's doing for you.
Bob, I do want to say, when Michael and I played together in New York, there was nobody in the weight room when Torts was in there I think he was on the elliptical, including you, DZ. And I think it's because you guys were all sick of him. It was towards the end of the year when I got there, but you guys are probably sick of hearing him.
Yeah, that was when he was in there. That was his weight room. It was actually, I remember it specifically. As the second he stepped foot out of there, then everyone went in. It was kind of funny. Yeah.
Michael, let's talk about that early relationship between you and John Tortorella. Now, when he's spoken to me about you back then, he says that, you had a lot of swagger to you, and he felt at that time it was a little bit too much swagger. And you said, like with Andrew Peeke going back to Cleveland, you were there. I mean, when you were with the Rangers, you got sent back to Hartford in the American Hockey League at one point. So how do you go from the relationship way back then when maybe you didn't think he was being fair, or maybe he thought that you were too full of yourself, to getting to where you guys are today?
Yeah, I mean, I came in as an offensive defenseman, a power play guy, putting up points. I had a great first season, but we butt heads as far as him trying to teach me how to play defense, blocking shots, all the stuff that you guys are well aware of, but teaching me how to be a pro every day, and teaching me how to become a winner and do the things that it takes to win on a nightly basis. I was sent down my second year. Obviously wasn't happy, but I, bounced back next year and had a career year. I was 41 points and plus 20. So at that point, I started to realize what he expected of me. The next year I had a solid year as well, coming out of the lockout. But going from that relationship then to now is, yeah, we butt heads, and maybe I was young, naive, arrogant, cocky, whatever word you want to use, where he was trying to teach me how to stay. It's a fine line between having that swagger and going over the line and being arrogant on the ice and making, I guess, immature decisions, especially with the puck. So just, I mean, like most players, through maturity, experience, playing in different situations, you understand, I guess, yourself as a player, as a person, and what it takes to win every single night. I went from New York to Philly, where I was playing shutdown minutes there. PK wasn't really in an offensive role. And every year, depending on the situation you get put in, through experience, I think that's probably my best asset now, is my versatility. Any situation I'm put in, left side, right side, power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, 4-on-4, whatever it may be, a physical game, an offensive game. I'm able to adapt and play whatever situation the game, I guess, arises.
I'm going to ask you this because both Jody and I spent time in the American Hockey League like you did. And when you got sent back down, and this also has to do with guys that are going through this right now, how much did you learn? How much more did you learn just about everything, about yourself, about how to be a pro in the game? And when you got back, the lessons that you learned in the American Hockey League. How important were those for you?
Yeah, it was a weird situation because I was only down for 11 games and then I ended up breaking my finger. I was done the rest of the year. So I was there for a couple months, and so it wasn't maybe so much the on ice stuff that I learned, but I think it was the mental side of it is making me that much hungrier to stay in the NHL, to do whatever it takes to be there on a nightly basis and be in the NHL for a long time and not get sent back down again. So the thing with the NHL, I'm a firm believer that, every player in the league is a great player. The difference from staying in the league, being a good player, a great player, is the mental aspect of it. Of course, when you get an opportunity, you have to make the most of it. But the confidence side, when you have it, how do you hold on to that as long as possible? And when you don't have it, how quickly can you get it back? So I'm a firm believer in mental toughness is something that I don't think is, I don't want to say rewarded, but isn't talked about or scouted enough, I guess. You always talk about the analytics and what you have now, and I think some of that stuff is nonsense. But I think between the years is something that isn't measured and is huge for a player.
Well, the last thing I have for you on this subject then is we talked about your early relationship with Torts. When did the conversations begin where you were looking at the Blue Jackets and you finally signed that tryout? How did that whole process start? And when did you decide that, yeah, this is the place where I need to come? This is where I think I can make something happen.
Yeah, to be honest, me and Torts didn't talk until I signed the tryout. We hadn't had that conversation. I know everything I need to know about him. I knew what to expect coming in, but once I signed that tryout, we spoke and we kind of laughed at first about, funny how things have come full circle and rekindled our friendship, relationship, or business relationship.
I call it love.
Yeah, love. Yeah, tough love. Yeah. So we spoke about that, and then he was brutally honest with me as to where he thought I could help out with the team, where he saw the team. I'm pretty familiar with the team. I understand how he coaches, the strengths and whatnot of the team, but I think providing some veteran leadership on the back end with a fairly younger back end. And also, like you said before, when he's in the room and he's tough on guys, and I like to keep things light. I think that's important too, is sometimes to ease the tension or to relax the room a little bit.
Michael, when you just mentioned about losing confidence, did you ever go through something like that where your confidence was gone and you kind of, because I guess everyone has done that, but how did you get out of that?
Just work ethic. That's one thing I've always taken pride in, is not every day is going to go the way you want it to. There's so many things that you can't control in this game, especially the last few years, as I mentioned before, being on rebuilding teams, and you play a phenomenal game and next thing you know, you're out of the lineup because they want to bring a young guy in and there's no rhyme or reason for it. And, the lack of accountability, I guess, in some organizations is frustrating and really doesn't make sense to me, to be quite honest. But I've always said, if I could look at myself in the mirror at the end of every day, knowing I gave everything I had, I can go to sleep easy. So if the work ethic's there, I think it allows you to be put in positions to succeed, and you never have to look back.
So looking for accountability, how about that? I mean, honestly, and I feel this because I think you are now entering the greatest part of your career. An older guy who understands. You figured out how to be valuable to a team later in your career using what you've learned, but also understanding how important accountability is. You value that a lot more now than you did before, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's numerous things I value a lot more now than I did before, just because I don't think I understood some of these things before. And again, that goes back to maturity, experience, all of that. Now being in my 12th year, to be quite honest with you, I think, the last few years is probably some of the best hockey I've played in my career, just from the understanding of knowing what it takes to win every single night, knowing that you may not have your best game every night, but allowing the mental side of it to allow you to stay in games, and knowing if you don't have your best stuff, how do you simplify, just ways to be successful when maybe things aren't going your way. So I'm happy. I'm really happy with where my game's at. I'm looking forward to getting back in the lineup as soon as possible. And hopefully we, as a team, can gain some consistency here and climb up into a playoff spot and see some success.
You know what? I did see the backhand cross zone sauce pass though this year, so I'm glad you still have that in your repertoire.
It's still there. It's up the sleeve, just hiding a little bit higher up now. That's all.
I was glad to see
It's not the first trick in the bag for me right now. I'm looking to go off the glass. That's all.
Hey, is it any easier to get away with that play now than it was when you first started? And I mean, because the game's opened up so much, and it used to be you didn't even, as a defenseman, you didn't dare make plays in front of your goaltender, and now that's pretty commonplace.
Yeah, I mean, back then, I think the success rate of those plays for me was probably a little bit higher, and I probably looked to make those plays a little bit more than now. Now, trying to simplify the game and play within the system, you're looking to make the simple option or the simple play first, as opposed to the home run play or that stretch pass. So the game for sure is played differently. For sure, played differently in the East than the West. But again, understanding the system, who we are as a team, who I am as a player. I guess your checklist of when you have the puck starts from maybe a simpler play, as opposed to before where you're looking for that highlight reel play that you're going to see on SportsCenter the next night.
When you talk about who you are as a team, and a lot of people think, well, this Blue Jackets team, the core is here. They should know who they are. They should be able to just adapt and play. But there are a lot of new faces in here, and even though how Torts, how demanding he is, and what you need to do within his system, what has the other part been like, where you're joining a new team, you are trying to get to know everybody, and during these COVID protocols, you're pretty much limited to going to the rink to be with your teammates, and that's it. If you're on the road, you go to the rink, you go to the hotel, that's it. I mean, all the things that I'm sure that you've done a lot in your career, which is, team dinners or dinners with a couple of guys, just those opportunities outside of work to get to know people better, and which translates into being better teammates and playing more cohesively on the ice. How tough has that been for you to deal with this year?
Yeah, that's been the toughest adjustment for me. As Shells know, I like to keep things light at the rink. I love joking around. I mean, to me, the best part of the game is spending time with your teammates away from the rink and getting to know them. They're essentially your extended family. You're with them 8 to 10 months, depending on playoffs, all day, every day. So, especially being a single guy, this is my family. So not being able to spend time with guys, have guys over for dinner, get to know hobbies, interests, their families. It's been difficult. You're trying to get to know 23 players, 10, 15 new staff. It's not easy, but at the same time, as far as the on ice stuff goes and the demand, I guess, and the way that Torts wants us to play, that's simple. Hockey's hockey. The work ethic he wants you to put every single day, that should be. There shouldn't be any excuse or any consistency in that regard. And there's only so many systems you can play. I think that's a bit of an excuse as far as getting used to new systems, because if you know how to play hockey, the rest should take care of itself. So I think for us, the energy needs to be there every single night, of course, with no crowd, but which I explained to the team probably a week or so ago now, is, as much as the fans are great and we appreciate having them there and supporting us, and they essentially put food on the table for us, we're out there competing for the guy next to us. We're out there competing with our teammates, and so fans or not, we shouldn't be using that as an excuse to have our energy every single night.
All right. Well, that being said, the fans are going to start being allowed back into the building, only a little bit at a time. But at this point, how much are you looking forward to get a little bit of real cheers and not the fake pumped in crowd music? Yeah,
that's going to be nice. The fake pump up is it kind of trips me out a little bit, to be honest. So having the fans in there, I think, is going to be enjoyable. It is funny, when there's a goal going on and you hear yourself yell on the ice or on the bench. It's been a bit taking a bit to get used to that, but I'm looking forward to the fans. Just from being an away team coming in here, I know how passionate they are. So even a small amount is still going to be huge for us, and I'm really, really looking forward to that.
No, Michael, I think we should tell the fans to come for warm-up, for not only the reason to see you skate, but the music has really improved in warm-up. And I think you have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. They've done a good job of playing my stuff and playing it loud, which I told them. I said, there's no fans, so let's jack the music up and get the boys pumped up and warm up. I don't want to be able to hear myself think. I just want to enjoy the music, bring a couple shots off the bar and get some confidence. So hopefully if the fans come early enough, they can enjoy that, and maybe I'll get a few new friends or followers of my music.
Okay, let's talk about this. You're a DJ. Tell us about your passion off the ice, and maybe take us through the recent warm-up selections you've got, and kind of what you got, that thought behind it.
Yeah, so I guess long story short, I got into music. I've always loved music, as you've known. I got into DJing probably 6-7 years ago. Being in Philly, I was pretty much watching Netflix all day, every day when I'd leave the rink, and I decided I need a new hobby. So like anything, practice makes perfect. Was watching a bunch of tutorials on YouTube, having DJ buddies who were pretty successful, seeing them in studio, learning that way. And the biggest thing for me, I've played gigs in Toronto, Montreal, Miami, and for me, music's an international language, right? So no matter where you are, everyone can enjoy music. And the biggest thing I love about it is if you're playing in a venue or wherever you are, if you have the ability, everyone is going through their own struggles or issues. If you have the ability to put a smile on someone's face, I think that is such a cool ability to have, because even what we're going through right now with COVID and the pandemic, is any little opportunity you have to brighten someone's day, I think is special, and music does that. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I enjoy it.
So it's DJ
MDZ on SoundCloud. Yeah.
DJ MDZ.
Yeah.
And tell us about the warm-up list right now, because you're responsible for it.
And so I have a bunch of different ones. Try to mix it up so it doesn't get too stale. It's depending on per team I've been on, where things, we don't have that old of a team here, where when I was in Vancouver, we had the Sedin twins. They like certain stuff. So you're trying to cater to whoever's on the team. You throw some rock in there. With the younger guys now, you got to throw a little hip hop. Even when Miko was here, I had some throwback stuff on. So trying to cater to the team. You're not going to make everyone happy. That's impossible. I think you have to understand that going in, that you're going to hear a lot of complaints from certain guys. There's some guys that like country, and I refuse to play country. So
oh, come on.
It is what it is. No, the country can be played on practice days. That's not meant for pump up. I'm not opposed to it, but when it's pump up stuff before the game or on ice warm up, that's where I take over, and that's where it's my time to shine.
So do you sit back and watch the guys and kind of gauge how much they like it, or do you
For sure. If there's stuff on, and you'll have conversations with the guys. Some guys will come up and say, "Oh, I really like this," or "Oh, this one was just okay." So I love getting feedback, because then you get a better understanding of what guys want, and you can cater to them.
What's the rush like when you're DJing? Like, what's the biggest crowd you've DJed for, and what can you compare it to anything as far as the emotions you feel and the excitement you get?
Similar to hockey, whereas when you're DJing, all eyes are on you. But the only difference is you're the only person that they're looking at, right? So it's in hockey, you have 9 other guys, 10 other guys on the ice to kind of distract someone's attention. But in DJing, if you make a mistake in a transition or a song, is similar to turning the puck over and having it in the back of your net. So some similarities there. Or if you have a great transition or a song everyone likes, it's similar to going bar down, right? It's there are some similarities that you can compare the two. But again, the most fun is just being able to provide smiles on people's faces, seeing people dance, and if you're able to get their mind off whatever negative things are going on in their life, I think is awesome.
Jody, I did play the Holiday Inn in Somerset, Pennsylvania as a DJ way back in the day.
Yeah, but your dad was a DJ, and you used to work the lights, right? Red, blue, pink, red, blue, pink, pink.
My dad got a karaoke machine when karaoke was the new thing, right? And he was cutting edge with that stuff. So that still pays dividends today, doesn't it, Jody? You've seen that.
Absolutely. Good karaoke machine, always live.
What are your guys' karaoke songs?
That's a good question.
You got to understand, with my age, and I know you don't like country, but Boot Scoot and Boogie's one that I can just get up there and do right now, and I don't have to worry about it.
And he's really good at it. I used to just go with Roxanne, because I think there's 4 words on it. You can turn on the red light.
What about you? You got one?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I got either Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It, or I can rock Spice Girls.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Sweet. Wide variety. Yeah, that's my go. Those are my 2 go-tos, though.
That is quite the variety right there.
I can do Vanilla Ice. Now that I thought about it, I could do Ice Ice Baby. Pretty. I wouldn't even need the lyrics.
Oh, that's impressive. We don't even need the lyrics, and you're just playing to the crowd.
That's how much I played that song back in 1996.
That's how you score a couple free beers, eh?
Yeah.
The David Lee Roth, Just a Gigolo is not bad at about 135.
Oh, yeah, you're good at that.
Yeah. Depends on the time of night, too. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Right.
How many drinks deep you're in. Yeah. What the confidence level is like.
That's right. That's why if I'm ever going to try something new, it's going to be late. I'm going to size up the crowd, make sure they're ready for it.
Exactly.
In case I screw up. Michael, thanks so much for doing this. What's your, you said about picking up some followers. Give us your social media platforms here.
My Instagram's at MDZ official and Twitter's at Michael Del Zotto. And then SoundCloud is DJ MDZ. And then and while we're at it too, I started up this business venture during COVID for any of the Columbus kids, hockey kids out there looking for, I guess, an additional tool to stay sharp. Virtualhockey.com. Something I kind of came up with because I knew back in Toronto, I was trying to stay sharp and everything was closed. So I came up with this platform that allows kids to stay fit and keep their hockey skills sharp. And to be honest, the parents are pretty excited to get their kids off the couch.
Yeah. And the kids are excited to get off the couch too. There's no question about that. Yeah. So thanks for doing this with us. We really do appreciate it. Good to get you and Jody reunited again. I'm glad when you left the Rangers and went to the Flyers, you weren't intimidated about taking the Jody Shelley path.
Yeah. No, not at all. I'm glad to have Shells back. I miss Shells. I'm hoping we get some face-to-face sometime soon and can catch up.
Yeah. We'll have to have you out to the suburbs, Michael.
I'm ready whenever you are. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael.